This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by top trainer, head of the Kronk Gym, of course, Sugarhill Steward. Sugar, how are you?
I'm getting the guts. I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. I think the best place to start is probably Ben Whittaker and his second pro fight, which took place on Saturday night in Saudi Arabia. A good 6 rounds, dominant performance against Peter Usyk out there in Jeddah. What are your reflections on his performance?
I thought it was a good fight for Ben. I thought it was his performance was a good performance, and from what I saw him learning that fight. So that's always a positive for me.
Although you love knockouts and you're an aggression-minded coach, is it nice sometimes to see your prospects get the rounds in so they can learn?
Not exactly, but if that's just the way it goes, then that's just the way it goes. So, every opportunity when things happen at a certain time, so it was his time to go the distance. So, if he got a knockout, he would have learned from it. But, sometimes you have to face difficulties and overcome them, and that's what I'm looking at. So I was very pleased with it.
What were the things that you kind of pinpointed from that fight and also from camp in the lead up that you feel you need to improve with Ben over the next kind of 2-3 fights?
For me, honestly, it's just spending more time with him. There's no one specific thing. It's just me and him having more time together on a day-to-day basis. Very similar to an Andy Lee and Emmanuel Stewart type of situation. We just have to be together pretty much, for a long period of time, just together. And that is what I want, and I know that is what will make everything successful.
And he was kind of drafted onto the show at short notice. Huge event, of course, world heavyweight title fight in the main event. How did he cope with that kind of situation? What was his mindset like?
I didn't see any type of cope. He was ready. He wanted to fight, and he put forth his best effort. He wasn't like, "Oh, I'm on vacation and no fight." So it was just one of those things like, "Yeah, I want to fight." So an opportunity presented itself, and let's take it.
And he wasn't.
That's old school boxing. Stay ready.
I'm going to let you have your drink. Was he so he wasn't kind of overawed by the occasion or anything like that? Because it's kind of the bright lights. I know he's used to it to an extent from the Olympics, but this is a different level.
Well, those bright lights weren't on him, so to say. In that fight, honestly, that fight, to me, it didn't seem as electrifying as other fights that I've seen in the past or been involved in, as far as the promotion, not promotion, but the publicity and things like that. As far as the media, it seemed a bit I don't know. It didn't seem the same as all the other shows. So it wasn't a problem for Ben. I think he had more media than on his pro debut than he did for this fight.
Oh wow, okay. And you talked about spending more time with him. When are we going to see you back in Birmingham to work with him?
I don't know yet. Maybe he'll right now he'll have to come to Miami. That's where I'm at. I'm currently training Anthony Durrell, who's scheduled to fight October 15th. Jelena Marjanovic is fighting September 3rd. And there's some other names, other fighters that I have that have fights scheduled coming up. This is where he needs to be at over here with me and watching me work, learning from me, and me learning him, and him being taught by the other fighters that are around.
And someone else you've been doing some work with out in Miami, another British fighter, is David Adeleye, the promising young heavyweight. How did that link up come about?
That's something that took place, I want to say maybe. It's been an ongoing relationship with me and David, because he was in the first camp, where I was in the first camp as well, with Tyson Fury in Las Vegas when he fought Deontay Wilder for the second time. And ever since then, David's been in pretty much every camp with Tyson Fury and myself. So we have a great relationship. I'm always teaching the other fighters in the training camp, just so they can learn and be better, and that allows them to give Tyson Fury the best work he can get. So but pretty much we worked together the last fight when Tyson, the big Wembley fight, April 23rd. We were in camp together and worked together a lot more. And this time we're here just me and David, and the rest of the team that I have here in Miami.
What do you make of David as a prospect, and what does it say about him that he's flown over to Miami specifically to work with you?
Well, what it says about David flying over to Miami to work with me is he's ready to get his butt kicked. He's ready to get whipped into shape. He's ready to learn. And he knows it's going to be hard because he's been around me and knows that, I'm serious about my teaching and serious about the fighters, achieving the goals that they want. So he's here, and he's been, I don't want to say it's been rough for him, but yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just getting back to Jeddah, after you saw Ben cruise to his second pro victory, were you able to get back ringside for the main event, take it in from up close?
Actually, I went home. I went back to the hotel. I had a 6:30 a.m. flight, and the time was running late for that fight. So I wanted to get back, have my things packed, and be ready for the driver to take me to the airport at 4 o'clock a.m. So I wasn't going to miss that flight to watch that fight.
Have you since caught up?
I did watch the fight. Me and Ben watched it in the room, and it was an interesting fight. It was a lot more interesting than the first fight. I thought it was a lot more effort put into that fight by both fighters than the first fight. So for me, it was partially entertaining. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, because I remember you saying you weren't a big fan of the first fight.
No, I wasn't. But the second fight, I was a bigger fan.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Joshua's performance clearly better than the first fight, but was there anything when you were watching it you felt he could have done differently to improve his chances of winning?
Yeah, but I won't go into what he should have done to better his chances because it's over now. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to say it like I'm trying to criticize somebody else for the work that they've done with Joshua, because I thought that I saw improvements in Joshua, so I don't want to take anything away from those improvements that he did make.
Do you think it's an encouraging sign for Joshua if he decides, and it seems like he will, to carry on with his career?
I do. For me, I thought this performance he did was I don't even want to say a number, but it was very impressive for me compared to the first fight. It was a totally different Anthony Joshua in the second fight with Usyk than it was the first fight.
And did you see anything in Usyk this time around that perhaps you hadn't seen the first time or previously at heavyweight?
No, not really. Usyk's a winner. He's going to do what it takes to win. If he's down, if he feels the tide of momentum shifting, he's going to change into gears. So, yeah, he's the same fighter, a complete package fighter.
Now, almost immediately after Usyk's hand was raised against Joshua, talk began to turn to an undisputed heavyweight title fight against your man Tyson Fury. I know. No resting on the laurels in the heavyweight division. And it would be the first world heavyweight title fight undisputed in the 4-belt era, which is pretty exciting. Is it the sort of fight that gets your juices flowing? Would it excite you?
The kind of fight that gets my juices going and flowing is just any fight with Tyson Fury with anybody.
Yes,
and that's just being fair, 100%. It doesn't matter if it's the 4 belts, because to me, they're all big fights. They all mean the same thing to me. I don't treat them any different just because it's for 4 belts, for 1 belt, for no belts. Every fight is like a big championship fight for me. And that's just the way I look at it. So I don't have to change gears and say, oh, this fight is bigger than the other one. And shift gears because I just treat all of them the same.
Well, I spoke to Frank Warren earlier today, and he said that he spoke to Tyson during the Joshua fight on Saturday night, and Fury said he could beat both men on the same night.
I said that already too. Tyson's still in my lines. I think I said that before him.
What is it? Imitation's the sincerest form of flattery, I believe the quote is. Have you spoken to Tyson since Saturday night?
I have spoken to Tyson, and that was one of the things we spoke about as well, too, both in one night. And that's just, it's no disrespect to any of the fighters. That's just for the way I feel. I feel he could fight both of those guys in the same night, easily.
Is it a fight that Tyson seems to want? I know there's been talk recently of retirement and then not retirement. I think Frank Warren said this morning they've sent a letter now to the WBC to assure them Tyson plans to carry on and defend the belt. Is it a fight that he seemingly wants from your conversations with him, the Usyk fight?
I think if it's a challenge, then Tyson wants it. So whether it's Usyk, whether it's Joshua, whether it's whoever's out there that's supposed to be the best, or that's supposed to be a challenge, then that's what he wants. He wants those challenges. He loves them. I mean, you know, Tyson, get up. He wants them challenges. Whatever you got out there, throw it at him. That's what he wants.
They've talked about it being in December, potentially. Frank Warren said he wants it to take place before the end of the year so that Usyk doesn't get bogged down with mandatory obligations. Tyson's obviously just cleared his mandatory in the last fight. How does that work?
And he just retired.
Yeah, and then retired. How does a December date, if that is what happens, how does that work with your schedule?
No, I mean, I don't have anything scheduled in December.
But is it a case of, I mean, other fighters of yours may get fights scheduled. Will Tyson perhaps have to come to you this time?
I don't know. That's just something that we'll discuss. You know, it's really something I can't say because nobody knows where that fight will be at.
Yeah, I mean, Frank was saying yeah. Frank was saying there's been a few offers from the Middle East. I think the football, soccer, as you guys call it, World Cup's taking place in that region in December as well. So there could be some sort of link up there. Getting back to Usyk against Joshua, what's your kind of scouting report on Usyk? What sort of threat, if any, could he pose to Tyson?
The threat that Usyk can pose to Tyson is that Usyk knows how to win. And to me, that and this is me being honest, and I'm trying really almost not to answer because I don't want to make it seem like Usyk is not, you know, a good fighter, which he is. I mean, I like watching Usyk fight. I like the things that he can do and watching him think. And yeah, but he can be a threat to anyone. He can be a threat to Tyson just as well because he knows how to pull out victories just as well as Tyson does. That makes it a interesting fight. And he's in heavyweight, so like you say, I mean, Tyson's been down before. Usyk's knocked guys out before, so this is still the heavyweight division where either man can be knocked down or knocked out. That's why it's the heavyweight division. That's why that's the big granddaddy division of them all. That's the division that brings all the excitement. It's the heavyweight, the big boys.
As Tyson's trainer and the person who has to formulate a game plan alongside him.
Actually, I'm Tyson's former trainer because Isaac Lowe is his trainer, as he announced already. But go ahead.
As Tyson's former trainer, and if you were to come back into the corner, if Tyson comes out of retirement as well, a lot of ifs here, as you can imagine. Would you perceive Usyk as a greater threat or a bigger challenge, let's say, as a trainer, than Dillian Whyte in April?
I wouldn't say that. I'm going to treat them all the same. Like I said, one punch can end it all in the heavyweight division. So the object of the fighter said to hit and not get hit, and don't get hit by no big punches.
And on that note,
but Usyk, I mean, we all know Usyk has he's got good mobility. You know, so that's going to always pose a threat for anybody, no matter how big you are, how small you are. It's his mobility and how he's able to. Listen, this man creates so many different angles and so many different lines of attacks, you know, and some of them are just made up just as he sees them. He just makes them and creates them. It's not something that's just planned. So, yeah, one mistake by Tyson Fury and Usyk could be there, I guess, you know. So that's what he brings to the table, his ability to create and to make things happen just as well as Tyson Fury. And for me, that's why it just seems such an interesting fight for those two with the mindset that they have, you know, getting in that ring and seeing, you know, who's the best chess player.
A lot of people have kind of characterized it as two highly skilled mobile fighters, but Tyson just being a bigger version of each other.
That's about what I said, but I just made it sound really fancy with the way I paraphrased.
You know, I'm stealing your lines as well. We're all doing it. But yeah, so you say that's fairly accurate then? That's
fairly accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky one. We talked about the threat that Usyk poses to Tyson, but it seems like a real challenge for Usyk to impose his game plan on someone so much bigger who has a similar skill set.
It will be very interesting.
You never give too much away, Sugar. One thing I did want to ask, because we had
Listen, I do give it away. It's just not when everybody wants me to give it away. I give it away when the fight's over. When there's been a knockout, then I'm giving it all away. You got it all right there.
Well, talking of that, back in April, the Dillian White fight, we had Dean White on our podcast last week. He was saying you were quite surprised in the Tyson corner when Dillian White came out southpaw in that first round. Is that correct? Were you taken by surprise?
I don't know. That's a false. I don't know if he said it or not, but whatever you saying that he said is false. I wasn't surprised. Why would I be surprised for? I wasn't the one in the ring fighting.
Maybe he said Tyson was surprised. Then I'll have to have another look.
I don't think Tyson was surprised either. It didn't really matter. It wasn't a big surprise. He come out southpaw. He didn't stay southpaw. No. Maybe that was a big surprise for them. I don't know. Maybe they thought he would stay southpaw longer. I don't know. It doesn't. It's something that I don't think about. I thought about it for a split second after the fight. Like, why they come out? Somebody mentioned it. I was like, I don't know why they came out southpaw. And after that, it was gone out of my mind. So, whatever tactics you feel are going to help you go fight, then that's just what it is. Maybe they were surprised when Tyson came out southpaw in the second round.
You're a student of the sport. Which of the heavyweights through history would you have seen giving Tyson a tough challenge?
Me.
Yeah, apart from you. You've still got it. No one's denying that. But seriously, like style-wise or whatever intangible some of the greats have had, who would have posed Tyson at the greatest threat?
Listen, honestly, I don't know. I would like to say Mike Tyson. I would like to say Lennox Lewis. I can't say Vladimir Klitschko because they've already fought me, and we saw what happened with that. So, I mean, guys like those two guys, preferably, and naturally, Deontay Wilder. You're gonna always give somebody problems. So yeah, those guys, and that's just because the heavyweight division has evolved. You know. There was years ago when the big men like that were more like clumsy, not coordinated. And now these big men, and this is not even in boxing, this is through all sports. I mean, you've got guys like LeBron James, pretty much one inch shorter than Tyson Fury, but moving and running the ball like a guard. And moving, I mean, these big men can now move like little men now. So things have just evolved, and that's why these heavyweights now would give those heavyweights back in the day a very, very good run. For the money, and it's difficult to say just because of the size and the athletic ability now. It's almost like I want to say it's almost unfair to even put these guys now in the same division as the ones back in the day, just because of the size of them and the things that they can do at this size, which is the same as the guys back in the days were doing it at that smaller size. It's incredible.
So, Sugar, the NFL season's about to start. I think it's like 2 weeks away as we do this interview. Are you a Lions fan?
I'm always a Lions fan. Whether they win or lose, it doesn't really matter.
What do you think about the chances for the upcoming season? Dan Campbell, new regime. What do you think?
Well, I'm a Lions fan. I didn't say I'm watching the games for the season and worried about what's coming up for the season for them. I just hope the best for them always. I don't know that they have new coaches and new players. I don't keep up with that stuff anymore. When I was a bit younger, it was a little bit more important to me. But right now, it's not that important to me. I'm focused on teaching and, helping out the people that are around me and win championships and get knockouts. So, and also playing golf. I was going to try to leave it out, but I just can't.
What's your handicap?
I'm not telling you my handicap. I play for skins.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Don't give it away. Before I let you go, what are you drinking at the moment? Tell us.
This is just some water with a little cranberry in it.
Are you telling the truth, Sugar? It's not a sneaky rosé, is it?
It looks like a rosé, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. We're gonna stick with water and cranberry. Good stuff. Sugar, really appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure. And I look forward to catching up when you're back in the UK.
Okay. Always good talking to you again, Danny. But you asking about the thing, but this was waiting on me here.
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah. A nice, what's the name of this? It's called arancini. Arancini. These are arancini balls here. with a little bit of beef short rib on the inside. You know what? I won't even tell you. I don't want to get your mouth watering for it.
It's too late. You've done it. Enjoy. I'm jealous, but enjoy it. And yeah, let's see you soon when you're back home, or back here in the UK.
That's home too. Go on. You got it, right?
Well, we look forward to seeing you here.
Okay.